Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As I promised in my last video, that I will be teaching how to find short side using Pythagoras in my next video. So here I am. The topic for today is finding short side in a right angled triangle using Pythagoras Pythagoras theorem, which is c square equals a square plus b square. So basically what we need to do is we will be rearranging this formula to find out either an a or a b. Last video we learned how to find c, which was how to find this c, which was the longest side. So today we're going to learn how to find out either an a either an a or a B. All right, so let's learn that using an example. Let's just say I am asking you to determine x in the following right angled triangle. So this is a right angled triangle, and x this time is either on this side or on this side here. So we'll just do this side first. We'll do the bottom side of the right angle triangle first, and then I'll show you that it's gonna work exact same way if we wanna put our x on this side, right? Okay, all right. So let's just rub those dots down. Now, we can consider any measurements for the other two sides. So 17 meters, let's consider 17 meters for the longest side. And let's just say this one here is 15 meters altogether. So, and I want you to find out this x. Now, as you can see, in this right angle triangle, the x is not opposite the right angle triangle. It's not opposite the 90 degrees. So that clearly tells me that x has to be smaller than 17, because remember, if we go with the Pythagoras theorem rule, this diagonal side or slant side in the right angle triangle, that one is the longest side in the right angle triangle according to Pythagoras theorem. It always is the longest side. Okay, all right. So I'm sorry, I don't like to keep things messy, so I'll just keep on rubbing if there is if I create any mess while I teach. So let's just get back into it. All right. Now, the first thing, always write down your rule. There are two ways to do this. So I'll just teach you the first way, and after I'm done with that, I'll teach you an alternative way of doing it. Okay. All right. So this is what my Pythagoras theorem is. Write it down. And then all you need to do is substitute 17, 15, and x into this formula here. Okay. So your 17 is always your C. 17 is always your C. X can be either an A or a B, it does not matter. If you consider X as an A, then 15 has to be your B. If you considered X as B, then 15 was going to be your A. Okay, as I mentioned in my last video, it does not matter which side is a B and which side is an A, as long as the longest side in a right angle triangle stays stays the C. So C is the longest side, I mean. All right, so let's substitute. So now this time your C is 17. So we are going to do 17 square to start with. Remember, it is not just C, it is C square. So we cannot just write down 17 equals. We have to go 17 square equals. A is my X, so we're going to go X squared plus B is 15 squared. So Pythagoras theorem is never going to work without putting squares on top of that. Okay. All right. Now 17 square. If you use a calculator, it will give you, I think, 289. I will double check that using a calculator in a minute. So 289, and then x squared is just an x squared, because x squared at the moment does not have any value. Our purpose is to find out a value, a number for x, right? And to do that, we have to find out 15 square first. 15 square is 225. Now, the tricky bit comes here. If you think about it, it's not even that tricky. The word algebra actually scares the kids sometimes. Algebra is what we are going to use from here. But you know what? It seems scary, but it is not. If you think about it, if you just follow the rule I'm going to tell you for Pythagoras, it's not even that scary. And so, what we need to do now is we have to rearrange. Our purpose is to find x, and to find x, we have to get x by itself. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to get different color to circle, because I always circle the thing which I want to keep by itself. I will be trying to get x by itself, because getting x by itself is the only way to find out x. Okay. Now, to do that, I need to move 225 away from that x. And the way to move 225 away from x is to take it to the other side, right? To take it to the other side. So putting 229 and 225 together on one side, right? Now, there is a rule behind it, which is where algebra comes in. So if 225 is added on the right side of the equation, it will be subtracted when we move it. Right? I repeat it. So if it is added on the right side of the equation, when we move it to the left side, it will be taken out from 229. That is what algebra is, and that's the only algebra involved in this question. Okay. So if you can do that, let me get my black color back. So what we need to do now is we just go 289, take away 225, and that gives me my x square on its own. If you can see it, x square is now on its own. Okay. Now, our next rule is to get rid of the square. As I mentioned in my last video, to get rid of the square, because the purpose is to get the x value, not the x square value. Okay. So again, to get rid of the square, if you remember from the last video, is just to square root on the other side. The opposite of a square is a square root. You can first subtract 225 out of 289 if you want to. If you are a little bit lazy or a little bit slack, you don't want to subtract it, there's no need. You can just put it down together underneath the square root. I like to do one step at a time. So I like to subtract first and then go from there. But as I mentioned earlier, it does not actually make any difference. Okay. Even if rather than putting 64 underneath the square root, you go 229 289, take away 225, and then square root it, square root it like that, it'll still give you the same answer. It's not going to make any difference. All right. Sorry, my bad. Let me quickly rub that one out before we go ahead. Alrighty. Now, so and we all know that the square root of 64, I'm pretty sure 289 take 225 is 64. Yeah, it is. So the square root of 64 is an 8. And if you use your calculator, I don't like using calculator too much, because I was taught when I was in university, I was taught not to touch the calculator as much as possible. Sometimes you just can't do it. You have to do things using a calculator, but I try to stay away from it. So please, I always tell my students to double check my answer using a calculator. I am pretty sure it is 8. So x comes out to be 8 meters. Now, if you just put that x here, the 8 here for an a, you will see that 8 meters is definitely smaller than 17 meters. So that means your answer is right? Because 17 has to be the longest side. So that's one way of finding out the short side using Pythagoras theorem. Now I'm going to teach you alternative way of doing it. Okay, those students who do not like to do the algebra, they can do the same thing using an alternative way. So you can use the formula straight up. I'm going to rearrange the formula at the start. So we all know that our Pythagoras formula is c squared equals a squared plus b squared, right? So what you can do, let's just say I'm trying to find out an a square. So you can just go a square equals, move your b square already on the other side, because again the purpose is to get a square by itself. Because if I want to find out a square, that means I have to get it by itself as I did here. Okay, so you're going to go c square, take away b square. Just be careful with one thing. Sometimes what students do, they just go b square take c square. That is wrong. You know why? Because we are moving b square. The one which is moving has to be penalized. All right, so we have to, because we're moving b square, we have to penalize b square. Why would we penalize for c square? No, we will not punish c square, because it's not doing anything wrong. B square is trying to leave a square. That's why all the positivity b square has is going to be converted into all the negativity. That's why b square will be taken out of c square. Okay, that's how we can remember that one. All right, so now, so a square equals c square take b square. Now you just need to put the values into this new formula. So 17 square take 15 square straight up. And then because we do not need square anymore, you can just get rid of that square and put a square root. 17 square take 15 square underneath, and it will take you straight to 8 meters. Okay, that's the second way of doing it. Okay, now I just want to show you one more thing. So in case if you accidentally, let's draw the triangle one more time. In case if you accidentally put, this is your 15, sorry, just give me a second, let's rub that line a little bit. And so, in case if you consider this 15 meters as an A rather than a B, and you consider your X as B, what's going to happen then? Nothing is going to be changed. Nothing is going to be changed. Sorry. My eraser and my pens are playing up on me a little bit today. All right. So again, same thing. I'm going to use this formula. Okay. So c square equals a square plus b square. Basic formula, Pythagoras formula. Now, because we are finding out b, so we need b square by itself. A is moving. A is leaving b behind. A is positive. If there isn't any sign in front of A, means it is positive. Okay, A is positive, and that's why it has to be taken out. It has to be subtracted. It will become negative when it leaves the B and moves to join the C. Okay, so your formula is now going to become b square equals c square take away a square, or if you want to write it down, b square equals c square take away a squared. That's one and the same thing. Both of these, either that way or this way, is exact same. There's no difference. Okay. All right. So because our x is b now, our x is b. So we're gonna go b squared equals c is never going to change. C is always the longest side. C is always 17. So 17 squared take, now your a becomes 15. Here your a was b, right? Sorry, your 15, your b was 15, and x was an a, whereas here x is a b and a is 15 this time. So 17 c squared take a squared becomes 17 squared take 15 squared. See, nothing changes. So this step here and that steps there, they're exact same, except that, sorry, I mean this step here, my bad, that step there, and this step here, and that step there, same. The only difference is this is an a squared, that's a b squared, but as I said, it does not matter. So now again, getting rid of the square means opposite, means 17 squared. 17 squared take 15 squared is gonna give me 8 straight up. All right, so does not matter what method we use, or you can just write down your x is 8 meters because your a is x. Now you can write down, or your x is 8 meters because your b is x. Sorry, my working out is a little bit messy today because I don't have a ruler to use on this screen. I'm still learning. My IT skills are not as great, but I'm learning every single day, and I love learning new things. Okay, now I always tell my students before I finish my lesson, I'm like, the beauty of my subject is, I love maths. The beauty of my subject is you have so many different ways of doing the same problem, of solving the same problem, and it comes out with the same answer. Isn't that beautiful? That's why I am so passionate about my subject. That's why I love my subject. All right. Well, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you soon in the next one. Do not forget to leave your feedback in the comment section, please. And don't forget to subscribe and share the video with your friends and your family. Thank you so much for watching.